The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official space section of the chart.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order. Out of order? I show you out of order.
Hey, everybody, I'm Michael.
I'm Rob.
And we're the Real Debaters. Welcome back to another episode of the show. Thank you for tuning in, listener. This week, we've got some new stuff. We're going to flip around some segments for you. We're going to go forward in time. We're going to go backward in time. We're going to stay trapped in a time loop because this whole entire episode is about it's about time travel. So we're gonna review a list from Collider, like we do in such fashion.
We're gonna rip it apart. We're gonna add to it.
We're gonna do it our way. And at the end of it, we're going to find out, I guess, what our favorite time travel movie is, or like genre or trope, if you will. We're also got some news to talk about. We've got some trailer reviews. This has been a big week.
Well, it was Super Bowl.
Right? Super Bowl always, I think there was 6 or 7. I only posted the ones I wanted to post, but I think there was 6 or 7 actual trailer drops during Super Bowl this year. It was big.
I haven't even watched them all.
But before we get into it, some things happened to me, some things happened in the world of the Real Debaters that we got to thank people about. So first off, I want to tell you about this, Rob, because it was pretty cool. I got invited to Film Training Manitoba. They had a master class, and they had Rory Kennedy. She makes documentary films. I don't know if you've seen some of the ones that she's done. She did the Boeing one on Netflix. She did the volcano one on that White Island volcano where it blew up when they had a bunch of people on the island.
Was that in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, yeah.
I didn't
she did
see
that documentary.
The Boeing one, is that about
the 2 planes that crashed?
Oh, about the 737 MAX.
Yeah, she did that documentary.
I didn't even know there was a documentary about it. That's kind of cool.
She does investigative documentaries that then she brings to
her dad's RFK Jr., right?
No, her dad's Bobby.
Oh, she's RFK Jr.'s sister.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the
okay, that's the connection. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So she's RFK Jr.'s younger sister.
Yes. I got 3 questions with her. I got to ask
Sweet.
her.
That's cool.
We're going to tag it to one of the episodes. I'm working on it right now to
Nice.
punch it up. But I got to talk to her about making Volcano. I got to talk to her about she did the last days of Vietnam, where America just basically told everybody in South Vietnam, we're we'll protect you, and then they left them in the embassy and flew off in helicopters.
Yeah, that. There's that famous scene in Saigon where there's all these people, all these Vietnamese, on the rooftop, and the last helicopter's leaving.
She got footage from the USS Kirk when helicopters would be full of South Vietnamese, land on the deck. The guys would push the helicopter over because they couldn't keep it on, take another helicopter, empty the people, push it on. And they lived with the USS Kirk soldiers for weeks until they got back to America. So I just want to say thank you to Adam Smolik and everybody at Film Training Manitoba for inviting me.
Sweet, that's cool, man.
It was really great. It was really awesome. They do really cool stuff. I don't know how many people in Winnipeg and Manitoba and Canada who want to come to Winnipeg and be a part of the booming film industry, but Film Training Manitoba makes it so that you can learn shit. If you're hey, I'm a carpenter, but I'd like to make it in the movies, they find out what you're good at and then put you in training. And,
what the cool thing about this too is, right, is you can go to Vancouver or Toronto where they also have thriving film film industries. But the houses cost $1.5 million, and your rent's $5,000 a month.
Your quality of life,
absolutely. So here, you can work in the movie industry
and
right?
survive,
and live a very plentiful life because the cost of living here is realistic.
Check out Film Training Manitoba stuff. I'm gonna have Adam back on. We're just gonna shoot the shit about stuff, but that dude fights for Winnipeg film.
That's cool.
Hard in the paint, gives a shit, wants to see it prosper. So doing master classes like this. So follow them on Instagram, follow them on all their socials if you're into film and you want to do stuff like this. This master class was 5 hours. She was there from 8 a.m. till 9. But what I was a part of was a 4-hour run of her just going through the documentaries and talking about how she made them. And her first doc was about African American women who were born crack babies who got pregnant. And they were I need to get off crack. So they'd go to their doctor and they say, I'm pregnant. Please help me. I don't want to hurt my baby. And then the doctor would call the cops and have them arrested for hurting a fetus. And she was we need a system and a course and a program that helps these women.
Actually advocates for them.
Doesn't consider them criminals because they're just born that way and they're trying to change.
Well, they're drug addicts.
Right. You can't help that. So that was her first documentary, and she
Crazy.
would show clips of that stuff. So it was very powerful, very informative, very cool. Rory, if you listen to this, thank you so much for your time. And then the second thank you is to Rudy's and Trivia Night that we did on February 13th.
I heard that was a great success.
It was a great success. Like, Kenzie's a fucking blast to work with. Food was fucking delicious. A bunch of people showed up. We actually, like, you want to hear some of the team names? This is pretty...
Yeah, give me a couple of team names.
All right,
Were they making fun of rom-coms?
Oh, fuck yeah. So the team that won was my best friend's 4 wedding planner and a funeral. I think they got 5 movie titles in their name if you listen to it closely.
Clever.
Then We Swiped Right was a couple.
Okay.
They're obviously Tinder. Rolling with the Homies.
Okay.
That was up there. Decent Proposal instead of Indecent Proposal.
Okay.
And then Les Quizerables.
Okay.
So you got some pun in there, but everybody had fun time.
I would have liked the name Backdoor Access personally, but that's just me.
As we trend into Real Debaters After Dark here. But the point is, thank you to everybody that came out. Thank you to Rudy's for hosting us. We're going to do a lot more of these. Stay tuned. We're like a traveling road show with the trivia and the movie stuff. So if you want to come and be
You're
a
like
part
carnies,
of it.
but you don't smell like cabbage.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I don't know what TV show or movie it's in, but they make fun of the fact that carnies have small hands. Where did that come from?
I don't know
was that
the
just
lineage.
was that just something that somebody made up for that thing? Or
Probably.
Or is there actually like an urban myth around that?
Like, is it an industry requirement?
I don't fucking know.
Small hands, you're hired.
Like, do you need small hands to operate like the crazy rides?
To get inside the small compartments?
I don't know, or fix the hydraulics?
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it was Austin Powers that small hands.
Was it Austin Powers? I think it is. I think it's Austin Powers. It doesn't even make any sense. I don't get it.
If it's not, listener, let us know.
Mike Myers, let us know. Why did you put that in there?
It's so not needed, but it's great. So trivia was a success. Rom-com trivia was a success. The next one we're doing, we're going back to our home of Little Brown Jug, March 22nd. It's a Friday night. Trivia theme to be announced. Subscribe to the show. Subscribe to our socials in the show notes if you want to be in the loop.
What's the date again for that?
March 22nd.
March 22nd.
7 p.m. Weekend before Good Friday and all the...
I think it should be St. Patrick's Day or Irish themed.
Well, it is.
Or things around Boston.
Yeah, sure. Like green or, Irish, because we're a week past. We could get away with it. Yeah.
You need a lot of questions around The Departed.
Who was
or
that?
The Town?
Yeah, a lot of Goodwill Hunting. What was in the Boston Marathon?
There's a lot of Ben Affleck and
Mark Wahlberg.
a lot of
a lot of Boston.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. So thank you again to everybody. We just want to let you know we're really glad you came out. Saw some new faces, gave away some prizes. Rudy's gave away $25 gift certificate. We gave away a $25 gift certificate. That's $50 for a trivia night.
Totally, that's sick.
We do have another show, February 28th at Handsome Daughter. We're doing Scott Pilgrim trivia and bingo.
Boom.
So bring your garlic bread. And it's $5 at the door. If you don't want to play trivia, that's fine. You can come just watch the movie for free. Little Handsome Daughter's doing some new fun food things there. They're getting away from the chicken and they're trying out some new sandwiches. Last time I think they did like Japanese inspired sandwiches. Like
that's cool.
Tiny fun bun type ones and stuff.
Do you have sushi on them?
Yeah, kind of that thing. Cool. February 28th, Little Handsome Daughter.
They should have a sandwich called Tokyo Drift.
I think we're on to something.
Yes.
I think we're on to something here. Maybe we could have sandwiches that are themed after Scott Pilgrim. Like each boyfriend could have a sandwich. Right? That's not a bad idea. I think we need to get in touch with them. Let's get into it. Let's step off this mortal fucking coil. What'd you watch this week?
So I watched a show that's been around for I think about a year or so. But I finally got around to watching it on Netflix.
Been hanging in the background.
So 1899.
Yeah.
So same guy that made the Netflix series Dark, which is German.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe this is German as well too. So it's dubbed. I like German shows though because they dub really well to English.
The language,
like the mouths.
Okay,
it's pretty close.
Interesting.
I feel like it's not perfect, but German and English I think has a better alignment with dubbing than say Spanish or French does.
The timing, the cadence,
the cadence just seems to be more similar with the mouth movement.
Okay,
it's not always perfect, but
you know
sometimes the dubbing you're just like, oh my god, like it's almost distracting.
It is, yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front is what you're saying. I think like it didn't feel like.
Or like Money Heist. Like sometimes it's okay when you're watching it. Sometimes you're just like I don't know. Sometimes it just seems off.
What's 1899 about?
So 1899 is it's an like an ocean liner crossing the Atlantic, kind of from England to New York.
Yep.
So turn of the century.
Trapped in one place.
And it's basically it's a lot of it circles around some key characters and their interaction, and jumping back and forth, and there's a lot of perception of reality kind of stuff and those kind of things. It's a good little mind fuck. There's definitely a time travel kind of aspect to it. I won't do a spoiler alert, but it's funny how it kind of like it ties in very strongly to our movie theme this week, talking about time travel stuff. And I liked it. It's 8 episodes. I thought it's intriguing. It definitely.
And it's like old timey ship, right?
And it kind of like
like merchant ship.
Yeah,
or...
like Titanic, but like around that era.
Yeah.
But maybe about 10 years
Steam
before. Steam.
Okay.
Like coal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just not as big as the Titanic.
All right.
And no icebergs. Yeah.
No band playing as it went down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. It looks. I tried getting into Dark. I don't think
Dark is amazing.
It wasn't a matter of not wanting to watch it. I think it was a matter of just, as always, too much.
Dark is one of those shows that you really have to pay attention. You have to put your phone aside.
In the other room, yeah.
Yeah,
as your phone goes.
Sorry, that's my reminder to buy tickets for T.J. Miller.
Thank you, TJ, for that TJ Miller moment brought to you by Rob Strachan. It's just too much shit out there, but I do I watched the Voyage of the Demeter. I don't know if we told you about that. That was the one where Dracula's travels across the ocean to America. It's how Dracula first gets to America out of.
Does he get transported in a box full of dirt?
Yeah, he does.
Kind of like in Dracula, like Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Very similar to that. But this is like if you were launching the origin movie of Dracula. Like it's the voyage on the Demeter where he ate everybody and got stronger, and then by the time they get to America, and then they cut it right at the end when he reaches.
So he basically leaves like the port of Bucharest in Romania,
yes.
and then comes like through the Black Sea.
I was going to say Slovakia, but it's not it's an Ania.
So Transylvania is a province of Romania.
Thank you, Google Maps.
Yeah. Well, technically it was its own country, and technically the original Dracula was actually the country was actually called Wallachia. If you really want to get really technical.
Because in Castlevania, they refer to it as actually Wallachia, I think is how they say it.
Maybe that's how they pronounce it,
Yeah. And okay, so that's how that all kind of ties. I'm watching Castlevania right now. Again, it's awesome. Okay, cool. Like it's a random side pivot from the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
How many time traveling steamships do you give it? Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It actually had a pretty cool ending and stuff. And it's one of those shows that kind of starts slow, and then it each episode kind of speeds up more and more and more. And you're just like, yeah.
Does it end with a conclusion? Because
it ends.
It does.
It ends, and you're just like, oh shit.
I heard it was supposed to get a second season. I think. Do
How?
you feel okay? If you feel that it ends proper,
I mean, I guess I could see it. Yeah.
But it okay.
Do you want me to spoil it?
No, I don't. Well,
Okay.
yeah, no, spoil it. No, yeah, no,
No, I'm not gonna spoil it.
don't spoil it.
You gotta watch it.
I'll watch it.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, no,
it's good.
Enough spoilers in the
It's
world.
good, and it doesn't take the same commitment as Dark, because Dark is like multiple episodes in each season,
Okay.
and there's a really long story arc.
Sweet.
Because with Dark, it's like in the first season you only do so much time jump, and then the second season you do even more time jump, and then the third season you do even more time jump. Like it goes further back and further in the future.
Feels like watching a season of Lost.
Yeah.
Cool. What I watched this week? Oh yeah, I wasted 2.5 hours. Okay,
So what movie was this again?
This is Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay, and who and what was who's in it? What kind of movie is it? What genre is it?
It's a murder mystery.
Is
courtroom drama. Made in France.
Okay.
So it's in French.
Yeah.
And
This ain't no chocolat.
No, this is no. At least with Chocolat, we have a handsome Johnny Depp and some guitar and a lovely story about. This is okay. So Anatomy of a Fall starts off basically like this. There's a husband.
This ain't no Lupin.
No, this is. They don't. They're the husband and the wife.
Lupin's great, by the way.
Are in a really bad relationship.
Okay.
And I'll just say the woman, she's suspected of her husband's murder.
Did this win a bunch of awards or something?
It's nominated for a bunch. She won for Best Acting Golden Globes.
Okay.
Sharon Haller, Susan Haller. Sandra Haller is the lead. Sandra Haller, Swan Arlud, Mila
So what was
Machado
it that you didn't
Grainer.
like about it?
It builds as this fantastic mystery.
Okay.
You don't know if she killed her husband, if her husband committed suicide, if their son who's blind killed him. All you know,
So it's not a murder.
all you know is that at the beginning of the movie, their relationship is tumultuous. Cut to, she goes for a nap. He's upstairs working. The son goes out for a walk, comes back. He is fallen from the third-story window of their house, and there's a giant gash in the side of his head, and he's dead. The wife is charged with the crime because she's the only one there. Who done it? You go through the process of investigation, crime scene breakdown, courtroom drama, all the way to the end of this movie.
So they give you breadcrumbs all the way along, and you're trying to formulate in your mind.
You're exactly doing that. You're sitting there in like a traditional murder mystery being like, did she do it? Did she not do it? Did it happen this way? Was it an accident? Did her son have something to do with it? Is it suicide because they mentioned that he was depressed? Like all of these things, which we get to the end where it's, I'm spoiling it for everybody here, listeners, so cut this out if you don't want to hear it. We get to, it was actually maybe suicide, but you're never confirmed because the son convinces the police officer that during a conversation months earlier, he tried to explain to his son about how things die sometimes. And maybe this was his dad killing himself. She crawls into bed. The dog jumps in bed with her. Cut to the ending. It is 2.5 hours of waiting for this nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. And the reviews, the Rotten Tomato reviews are like, it's amazing in its ambiguity. It's fantastic that it really doesn't give you anything at the end. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. I want 3 acts. I want a story. I want conclusion. I want to walk away, and I want to be entertained, and I want to be taken away.
This ain't Inception with a little spinning top, and then it cuts away.
That's exactly.
That fucks with my head and makes me think about the movie for weeks.
Right? This is what this does.
Yeah.
Fucking bit me in the ass hard. And me and Shauna were like, no, this isn't happening.
Well, didn't you say
no.
Shauna walked out of the room angry?
She did. She stood up and walked out.
Fuck this shit.
Oh, that's a quote unquote. That's exact. She was like, fuck that. And like, I'm the one who was like, let's watch this instead of Wonka, right? Like, we could have watched.
Dude, Wonka's great.
I know it is, right?
Wonka's great.
But I'm like, okay, do I watch all 10 best this year? Do I try?
Was Wonka like $20 though to rent?
Wonka's still $24 to rent.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem paying, but like.
It's still in the theater.
Yeah. It's still making money. So that's fine. Make its money. Do its job. But I give Anatomy of a Fall like.
Oompa, oompa,
5.5 bloody husbands from 3 stories down. Like it's very dry. It's talking head. It's all talking head, right? And you're given these breadcrumbs that you think are going to lead you somewhere, and then it's going to be her smiling that I got away with it, or it's going to be a reenactment and she was really telling the truth all along and he did fall, or the son was like dad and watched him commit suicide. None of those things. They just end it with conversation. You get no absolution.
The other thing
with too many fucking flashbacks.
There's also lots of really good movies in that kind of genre, that type of movie. So I feel like nowadays it has to be exceptional to really stand out compared to everything that's come prior to it.
Like, I can see metaphor and theme and be like, okay, all right, the story you're telling isn't what's happening on screen. The actions are telling more than the dialogue, and I can get that.
Just remember, French people think Jerry Lewis is funny.
So, like, 5.5 dead husbands from 3 stories down. So, moving on, we've got some shit that happened at Super Bowl this week. Lots of fun trailers that came out, but the trailer is Deadpool versus Wolverine, or if you're Hugh Jackman, Wolverine versus Deadpool. What'd you think of it?
Deadpool 3?
Deadpool 3.
Trailer?
What'd you think of the trailer?
I love that wig in the opening scene.
Why is it there?
It's so great.
Why is it there?
Because Wade's trying to be a normal guy again. He's trying to be a normal guy.
I have a theory about this.
The wig is so wickedly bad but awesome at the same time, and then I love when they fucking pull it off his head.
This pulled through the TV. Have you seen all of Loki?
I haven't, but I know who those guys are.
You do?
Absolutely.
When you watch Loki...
Those are the temporal police guys,
They
right?
are. They're the TVA, exactly. So you know what's up.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they had one responsibility with this trailer. Well, obviously, this is the first trailer. We're gonna get the 2.5 or later on, but...
Oh, that doesn't scare me. I'm into pegging. But
right?
Disney isn't.
Right? They had one job with this trailer.
I'm the Marvel Jesus.
All they had to do is in the first 10, 15 seconds... confirm that it is what we want, which is don't fuck it up, Disney. And then they did that, and after that, I was like, dude, I am here all year for this shit. Did you see in the shot when you see Wolverine's shadow walk over him in the end of the trailer? And if you look to the bottom left, for all you 4K people out there, if you zoom in on that comic book, it's Secret Wars. It's the Secret Wars comic book, repped up in the background.
Shut the fuck up.
In the bottom, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you, new rock stars. The Marvel Jesus comment, though, that you said is interesting because that's fourth wall stuff that's dirty to talk about. That's like letting everybody know the business isn't doing what the business should be doing.
But it's also alluding to a resurrection.
Yes,
thing, right? A resurrection, right? You know, so you're basically using the Christian symbolism around that.
Ooh,
yeah.
Look at you going deep.
Yeah,
I love it,
bro.
I like the theory. I don't know if you heard this or not, but the theory on like how is Deadpool doing all this?
Yeah.
And someone at work kind of clued in on it. They were like, well, he still has the time device that Cable had in the end of 2.
Oh shit.
So if you think about it for a second, Wade with hair is alternate universe Wade. Right? Like he went and got hair transplants or something. Like I mean, it looks like a wig. They pull it off, but like that might not be the Wade from 2. That might be Wade because doesn't she die? Doesn't girlfriend die?
She died at the end of 1, didn't she?
Yeah, and then he brought her back in 2. So is he in an alternate universe with her? And now he's got the device that he can travel back and forth and realizes that this, like he's.
But so where's TJ Miller?
Getting in trouble, unfortunately.
I know. Disney won't touch that, but they're okay with a pagan comment and a fucking
right. And like, how many people did that have to go through before they were like, "Can we put this in?" Or did he just do it and then like he's gonna eat crow for it?
I think Ryan Reynolds
is God
negotiated a contract to do this movie, and they need a win, and they were willing to allow that, and because it's restricted,
yes,
they're going to allow it. And Ryan Reynolds is just he's in a don't fuck with me place, right? And he can get away with more than the average person.
Yeah, I agree. He has done a lot with his career in film and outside of film.
He's also one of those people where everyone's like, it's just Ryan Reynolds. He's being cheeky. He's being funny. And they just let it go.
He's being Canadian, right? Like, that's what you hear all the time. They're like, he's just being Canadian. Yeah. Ryan Gosling gets the same thing, too. He's just being Canadian, right? And it's like, no, I'm getting away with it.
They both lived in the United States for 20 years.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't wait for it. I need like the vulgarity that Wade brings to the table and just the work that the two of them have done outside of the movie to like do commercials together and fuck around together and be friends and have ongoing, like all of that stuff is way more worth the movie than the actual script is. I don't care what the fuck is going to happen.
Yeah, like their feud and then like and the stuff they'll do with Jake Gyllenhaal, and, like with the ugly sweaters, and
it's so amazing.
It is pretty funny.
And to be
it's almost like an out of movie soap opera kind of thing.
It is, but it's also stupid promotion for the movie.
100%.
Like you're either going to go because you like the two of them, or you're going to go because you like the story.
I think it's both.
Oh, it's winning on all fronts. It's another big trailer.
I also know for a fact that I guarantee the script says in certain sections, it'll have a couple of lines for Ryan to do, and then it'll say, let Ryan Reynolds ad lib.
So Ryan
Guaranteed.
Reynolds is a writer on it. This was interesting.
Oh, he is?
He's a writer on
okay.
it. So he's got a writing cred.
Okay.
He's an actor cred. He's also got a producer cred.
Yeah.
Which means that as a producer and actor and writer, he could strike for 2 different guilds when it was happening. But he couldn't film because as a writer and being able to ad-lib, he would be changing the script. So they had to shut down because of so much improv that you were referencing.
Yeah.
Because it is true. It's like Ryan is Ryan. Next scene.
I also like in the trailer how they basically don't show Wolverine at all.
They don't.
They just show like fucking a shadow.
How many? Okay, do you remember in
Shing!
which X-Men was it where they see him and he's like, hey, is it First Class? Where Xavier and Magneto go back and they find him in the bar and they're like, hey, we got a mission for you. He's like, fuck off. Like, that's an alternate Magneto because that's timeline. That timeline's Magneto is that Magneto. That's the, or not Magneto, sorry, Wolverine that we've all seen, right? Mm-hmm. How many Wolverines does he have to bounce through before he finds the right one?
Yeah, but Wolverine's also just old as fuck.
He is. But what I'm saying is what's the one, if Wolverine is old as fuck.
Because Wolverine fought in World War I and World
II.
War and II.
And Vietnam. And Korea. Like, and Desert Storm. Like.
And with Sabretooth, right?
Yeah. And like.
Well, the Desert Storm thing came a little bit later, right? I'm not accustomed to that.
But the point is he can be as old as fuck in any universe, but what old as fuck Wolverine does he find first? Because he can travel through time jumps, right? Again, very on brand for today's episode. But another trailer though.
That's the trailer right
that came out. Which one? I don't like. You're like, I don't fucking know about
the
Godzilla.
One?
What was your take on Godzilla?
Fuck. I mean, it was okay. You know what I hate about those kind of movies? I hate all the human element of it. Like you know, like the fucking ragtag team, and there's always like, you know, the scientist, you know who's smart and helping.
Set up.
And then there's always the comic relief person, and the comic relief person in this one are just like, fuck, like
Brian Tyree Henry is fantastic, but he's misused in this.
It's the same tired fuck comments, and I'm just like, I don't know.
It's too much, dude.
It's just honestly, I'm not gonna spend $16 to go fucking see that in the theater.
But do you like Hollow Earth being used as part of the whole thing?
I think
family of Kongs.
I think it's kind of cool. I think I'm just Planet of the Apes out.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Like monkeys are too much for you now?
I don't know. I just feel like it's just overdone.
I made the comment.
I like Kong versus Godzilla, but now it's a team up versus some other super fucking creature, and then there's like that other Kong with like the fucking giant whip thing.
Dude, you can
and
see
he's got like the mechanical fucking arm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The mechanical Kong thing, I'm gonna have questions about because I know how we got a Mechazoid Godzilla.
Yeah,
like I understood that in the movie. That was cool. They took his DNA. They built one. They tried to control it. Okay, fine, within the realm of reason. But how do we have a robotic Kong living in a hollow Earth in a different environment?
I don't know. The last movie in this type of genre that I liked was Pacific Rim.
I agree. Did you like 2 as much as you liked 1?
No.
It did fall flat. Yeah.
Of course it fell flat. It had it
had Idris Elba's son.
No, didn't it have the guy from Star Wars in it? The guy that plays the guy that plays
Finn.
I can't remember his name right now. John
Boyega. Look at that teamwork.
Yeah. Like I'm like he fucking Jax, bro.
I know, but he also
he was just better. He was just better in the role.
Idris Elba was why we liked 1.
Mm-hmm.
Idris Elba's son isn't why we're gonna like 2.
Correct.
That was how we got there, and I'm like,
and you had Charlie Hunnam. Like Charlie Hunnam is great.
Yeah, he was built for that role.
He was totally awesome in that role, man. Anyway.
Yeah, you have a really good point about the human factor.
And I haven't really been in a Kong movie since Peter Jackson's Kong.
Peter Jackson's
was fucking great.
Peter Jackson's Kong still lives up to this very day.
Dude, the CGI in that is so good.
Oh, the
new CGI sucks.
They
just pump this shit out. And
the dinosaur tumble in Peter Jackson's where they're like,
it's so good, dude.
And then the bugs that come in and they're all in that cave.
And you have Jack Black in it and Adrian Brody. It's
Naomi Watts.
It's awesome.
You know what? We'll dedicate the film to his family and donate the proceeds. That's Jack Black's running joke throughout all of Peter Jackson's King Kong. Oh, that was a fun movie.
Jack Black is great.
He is.
He's great.
Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yeah, man.
Coming to a theater near
you. He did that movie, and then they were like, what do you want to do next? I'm like, I'm doing Nacho Libre, motherfucker.
Because I can. Yeah, your point about...
Little kiss, big kiss.
Your point
little
about...
hug.
I want to cap this and move on and just say your point about we are. I think they're just making these movies to eventually make Rampage into a real life movie, right? Like I know they made it.
They already made Rampage with The Rock.
I know
and
they
it was
did.
terrible. I watched the first 20 minutes of it. And I turned it off.
I think they're going to try to do this proper. There's no reason to keep having a team up, right? And like Rampage was done. If they take these guys and stick them into a Rampage-like movie, like they're not going to call it Rampage. They can't. But you know that there's going to be 3 or 4 of them now on a team slowly going forward. Because if you have 2, why not have 3? Why not have Mothra come back and do something, right? Why not? Like that's what you're going to have. You're just going to have a buildup of super kaiju monsters, and it'll never fucking end. It'll be Fast and the Furious of the monster world. Like Monarch is amazing. Have you watched Monarch? Okay, Monarch fits in between. It's G-Day +1, so it's one day after the San Francisco attack with the Bryan Cranston Godzilla movie.
I'm just not into those types of movies anymore. I just don't have the time.
Like monster movies are my I'm excited for this Godzilla one. I'll go see it. Okay. It'll be fun. I'll go watch it in the theater just because that's the only way I can drag Shauna to a movie. She loves big monster movies, so we'll go see that. It'll be fun. But I'm not I am tired out by the same scientific process. The same characters, the same
literally the only movie I'm super excited about in the next month is Dune.
Yeah,
that's it.
I think. Yeah. Did you see the premiere this weekend where they all showed up?
With when she's got
she
that,
was like
that suit.
That
and
was a
butt.
throwback. I was like, wow, that's that old pinup robotic shit from
from heavy metal.
From heavy metal,
the
yeah.
70s.
No, she really. I was like Zendaya. I like that. That's. Yeah. I don't like a stupid dress. I like something cool like that.
Something that you can't. My question is it's. Hopefully she went pee beforehand.
You know, right? Like Preston from Jackass just gonna pee in the suits. Don't worry. There's maybe there's a filtration device that'll turn it into water. Oh, that'd be on brand, wouldn't it? Okay, cool. So Godzilla, no for you, but Deadpool, obviously. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to see Deadpool 1,000%.
One more bit of news this week. There's a big casting, another Marvel moment. We finally got our Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. We've got Vanessa Kirby. Mm-hmm. We've got Pedro Pascal. Mm-hmm. We've got Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. Metal Guy.
Yeah.
And we have Eno. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna fuck his name. Ebom. Hang on.
The guy from The Bear.
The guy from The Bear. Yeah. Let me bring up the article here. So it.
He was also in that ridiculous rom-com with not Scarlett Johansson. Silver Lining Playbook.
Was he in that?
Yeah. He plays one. He plays her ex.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell's his name? What the? Okay, I'll get to it here in a second.
I think he'll be good because he plays angry well, and he's good at comedy, and that's kind of what the Thing's role is.
Eben Moss. Backrack.
Yeah, that's it.
Eben Moss Backrack. Sorry, listener.
Yeah.
That one's a mouthful.
He won't be selling cocaine in this.
Well,
he's an astronaut.
He's going to be a big damn deal. But I like his delivery. I like him as Cuz on The Bear. Like he's.
I'm still not. You and I have already talked about this. I'm not sold on Pedro Pascal on this role
as Mr. Fantastic.
I really wanted John.
You want John Krasinski?
That's who I want.
Really?
And I want Emily Blunt. That's who I wanted.
I mean, that is a match
that's
made
who I thought
in
that's
Marvel
who I thought it was
going
to be. I thought it just made sense. I figured the two of them would want to do some type of project together. They're already married in real life.
Yeah, but she said working with your husband on The Quiet Place was a bad idea. So I don't think she's gonna want to.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but he was the director. He's not the director here. He's
I know,
just
but
another
she's like,
actor.
I don't want to do this with my husband again.
Okay, that's fair.
Like just the lifestyle and
okay. I figured they'd want to do a project where they're both actors on it and they're not in charge of where he's not the because it's got to be different. He's the director and he's also starring in it in the first one. That's a different dynamic than just the two of them starring in it.
Pedro has such a good relationship with Disney, though. I think that's why that was very easy to do.
Dude, I get it, and I think if it's going to be set in the '60s, and it's going to be some kind of cool tie-in, then I think I'm okay with it. I'm coming around to it. I had a vision in my mind.
I know. We all do. That's how. Yeah.
And also, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards is super fucking tall, and so
they'll shoot him from bottom up.
I get it again. And it's not like Pedro is short. He's still like 5'11".
He's going to be tall. He's going to be able to stretch a couple inches.
Yeah.
He'll
yeah.
modify.
I do like the casting for Sue Summers though. because she's great as the villain in Mission Impossible.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yeah, so
I love that she played M's daughter or granddaughter from the first Mission Impossible. Like when they make mention of who she is and her tie is, she's the granddaughter of that silver-haired lady in the back of the limo in the first one, the Brian De Palma one.
Wow,
That's that tie back. Yeah,
shit, I didn't realize that.
yeah. They make a very
Well
fast
done,
mention
Tom
of
Cruise.
it, and she even poses like her at one point. So it's like it's
Yeah,
using an old
yeah.
tie-in, which
I need to watch the first Mission Impossible. De Palma's the fucking bomb.
it will always live in infamy as my favorite.
I'm gonna have a De Palma night. I'm gonna watch Scarface.
Yeah.
Fucking watch Mission to Mars.
Just saying those two things. They just don't lie. Like when you go through his catalog and you say,
Is it Mission to Mars or Red Planet that he does?
I think it's Red Planet. I don't think it's Mission to Mars.
I think it's Mission to Mars.
Mission to Mars, isn't that?
Well, that was one of those where they both came out the same year. Remember?
Mission to Mars is so Tim Burton. I know it's not Tim Burton. Or is it Tim Burton? It's not Tim Burton. I'm fucking with myself.
Red Planet is the one with Val Kilmer and Carrie Ann Moss.
Yeah.
That's Anthony Hoffman. Yeah. So
So it's Mission to
It's Mission to Mars is De Palma, and that's the one that has Gary Sinise and Tim Robbins in it.
Oh, I'm thinking of
And Cheadle's in it as well.
okay.
Yeah, that one's De Palma. And that one also has what's his face? Pretty boy from who plays Chubby Kid in Stand By Me.
Oh,
Jerry McConnell. Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell. Was also in Jerry Maguire.
He is actually in Jerry Maguire. That's right.
I am down for this because this feels fresh.
Yeah.
And
I mean, 4 times the charm, right? Well, I guess we could say 3.5 because the first one didn't really come out.
Do you think Javier Bardem should be Galactus?
Who?
Javier Bardem.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's who's
As
rumored.
long as it is the badass fucking purple suit.
Sure, yeah.
And he doesn't take his fucking mask off, and we just see him here, and I think that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
totally good with that. He's
I mean,
a great villain.
That's what we had with
Is Silver Surfer in it?
Silver Surfer's going to be in it as well too,
And then Doctor Doom.
and Doctor Doom.
Who's going to be Doctor Doom?
Also, I think I've got my casting wrong when I think about that. I think Javier Bardem is Doctor Doom, not Galactus.
I'm totally cool with that.
That's what it is. And Silver Surfer has been unannounced.
What was the country that Doctor Doom was from? It was like an Eastern European kind of fake country.
Victor Von Doom. So Von Doom is the name, but yeah, like I think it's one of the
Lacavia or something like it's
Yeah.
got Avia at the end.
well,
Yeah.
isn't that the
It's almost like a Liechtenstein kind of fucking thing.
Segovia Accords in Marvel? Isn't that where he's from,
Segovia?
or something like that?
Yeah,
What's
that
the
sounds
Accord?
right. Yeah. Maybe
in-
that's what it is.
Yeah, I think he's from the same place
Yeah,
where Age of
okay.
Ultron happened.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's true. I'm not 100% certain on that, but it is like some Eastern European country,
Or like in the Alps or some shit.
some shit like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's a skier in his off time. Like he's a evil
Well, it's a
doer.
mountainous place, and he's got like a mountain fucking lair. And
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the first one just because of Chris Evans, obviously, and I mean the casting for Sue, what was her name? Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba, and she wore the blue contacts.
Yeah, I mean, are those eyes real, mommy?
They blonde faced her.
And then what's his face from the commish did the thing? hell's
It's
his
right. The
name?
guy from the Shield.
Yeah, the Shield, the commish.
Well, the Kamishi was fat and dorky, and the Shield he was badass.
Yeah, he kicked the shit out of people in the Shield. And then what's his dick for Mr. Fantastic?
I can't remember his name either, but he was really good actually.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
It was a fun take on it. It was.
What was the villain in that? Was it the
It was
Skrulls?
Victor Von Doom.
Was it? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But
Julian McMahon
that's
from Nip Tuck played.
Nip Tuck. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
That
but he didn't have the mask right until the very end.
he
And,
didn't, and
Yeah.
that was the thing is that he was part of a science. He was part of the science community as well.
Yeah.
and he was changed by trying to fuck with what they brought back from the
That's
planet. I
right.
believe is how they
That's
did it in the
right.
movie.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Good luck, Disney. I'll be in the theater for it. I can't wait for it. I think that's how you're going to get them in, is that you're going to have them in the 60s with the rumor that's going around. Charles told us that, like, hard set in the 60s. I mean, it's yours to lose, but we'll be there.
I mean, I don't believe that they would have sent a woman scientist into space in the 60s.
No, too much misogyny for that. Are you kidding me? Her uterus would explode. We need her to make children.
Even though the Russians did, or the Soviets did, launch a woman into space in the 60s.
Yeah, no, they'd build them better over there for the fucking space. Cut this. So yeah, that's the news that we wanted to talk about this week with you, listener. If you have an opinion on said matters, anything on this show this week, on our reviews or on this news segment, you can leave a voicemail, link in our bio. We'll play it on the next episode. We'll feature you on the show. We will make you look good. We will not embarrass you. If you want to disagree, if you want to argue, we'll have the last word, obviously. But we will feature you on your show in a very positive light. So check it out. Click on it. It's with SpeakPipe. It's pretty cool. You just press a button on your phone, and then it automatically records into your mouthpiece. And I think you get up to 3 minutes to say something. So that's a lot of time to be featured on a show. Anyways, you want to open up the floor and talk about what we're going to talk about?
I just want to say something before we get into the best time travel
weak-ass
movies
list?
from Collider.
Yeah.
I just want to throw out some mad props to the original OG of time travel media, and that would be Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a movie, it's a TV series.
Oh, dude, I was ready for this one. I was ready for this one. Okay.
And then maybe let's do a quick call out to the motherfucking godfather of time travel, Mr. H.G. Wells.
Oh, of course.
Like, wrote the Time Machine in the 1800s, and I think
converted into a movie. Based off of a literary masterpiece.
And that's on my list, actually.
Time travel.
And I'm not talking about the remake Time Travel with Guy Pearce.
All right.
Because that fell a little short.
That's I'm not saying it was great. I'm just saying it was adapted. Things are made all the time. Are they great? That's an argument. All right, let's open the floor. So,
do you want to pull up the list?
Yeah.
Even though, what's up with this Google search homepage right now that has the Death Star and fucking multiple stormtroopers in front of it? That's actually pretty fucking cool.
In a waiting pool. Take a look.
Well, it looks like they're. To me, I actually think they're walking through the swamps of Dagobah.
That is a pretty good.
That's what I'm envisioning.
Sure.
There. Yeah. Yeah, that's Dagobah.
Dagobah. Okay, well, yeah, before
I love these Collider lists. I love them, and I love to just, rip them apart. But honestly, they're usually pretty well done.
Before we get into it, I do...
a bunch of shit missing on it.
You made a comment about one last time, and I do want to say what date this was made. Because we really don't say...
what date is it?
It's actually January 2022 this list was made.
Okay.
So we could have some misses on this. I mean, I didn't pull up the newest one. I just pulled a list. So this is Collider from 2022. But I mean, it's only
that's pretty fucking recent.
It's a year and a half, not even a year and a half. So you're still well within it. So it's January 2022 list. It'll be in the show notes for you, listener. But yeah, let's crack into this first and see what's made their list. So number 15, Primer. I don't know if you've seen this one, listener, but Primer's probably one of the most low rent, fantastical ideas on time travel you could have. It's two guys, part of a company that are building computer chips in their garage, and they accidentally stumble over how to go back in time. And all it really is a storage locker set in like a U-Haul area where they set up these cooling devices that literally sleep them out and wake them up in the timeline they want and start to play the stock market. And it is a thriller. It is a slight horror.
Shit goes awry.
It is the definition of why
Gets
you're not
your brain thinking so much. I mean, it's been 20 years since I've seen this. So I don't even remember every facet of it. I need to rewatch it though.
It's so easy to follow. It fucks with you. It is like
it's very technically precise too.
It is. It's about gravitational pull and using a lot of mathematics because these guys are engineers, right? They're not your layman sitting around being like, the fucking flux capacitor or whatever, right? Like it's grounded.
But the stuff that happens to them is so grounded in the reality of what
would happen.
Of what you think, or what would, or you would assume would happen if you start fucking with this shit.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not set in a far off land. It's set in contemporary society.
And they make it change, and then that fucks with this thing, and then they try to go back to fix that fuck up, and that further exacerbates the fuck up, and it's just it just starts spiraling.
I think it's one of the greatest a root cause of what time travel could do.
Totally.
In a contemporary society, it's amazing. It's old. I think it deserves to be on this list. I'm fine with it being there. Check it out again. Like, I've got a copy of it if you can't find it. It's fucking.
Well, here, let's see where it is. It's just Primer, right?
It's just Primer. That's the word.
It's not available on any streaming service in Canada right now.
If you use Just Ask, it would tell you exactly where you're supposed to go. And that's not a paid for ad listener. That's just how awesome Just Ask is. Download the Just Ask app and just ask what you want to watch, and it'll tell you exactly where you can watch it if it's on your phone, and then push the app button and it takes you right to your fucking phone.
Yeah.
Again, Just Ask. If you'd like to pay for this spot, we're more than happy to do it. Number 14, one of the granddaddies of all time.
Terminator.
The Terminator. If I know you've said it earlier, and we'll get into it because it's a point of contention later on that it's got 2 spots. But the Terminator being high on this list, I'm fine with. Yeah. But like, I mean, the exact idea of what going into future and going back in time is trying to change an outcome, and it's perfectly placed in this story.
Absolutely. Well, the funniest thing about this too, though, right, is it's almost like he didn't go back in time to change the future, because it's almost like it was predestined that he came back.
No matter what happens.
Because he had to come back because he was John Connor's dad.
That's the grandfather complex.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the fun trope. That's the fun
100%.
trick of it, is that
Absolutely.
if you kill your grandfather, do you cease to exist?
And how good is Arnie as a fucking villain?
You know,
that was one of the big things, is he didn't want to do the movie because he didn't want to be a villain.
He wanted to be a babyface.
And James, he wants to be a hero. And James Cameron convinced him to do it, and the rest is history. Because before this, the only movie he'd done is really Conan.
And Hercules in New York, I think, too.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Like, it's
Conan the Barbarian is fucking epic.
I have to tell you that without doing this show with you, my appreciation for Arnold would be at an all-time low. But having you just constantly talk about Arnold in my ear, and then watch the documentary, and then read parts of his book, and just be like, who is this man?
He's fucking unreal, dude.
He is a
for all and the
category of his own.
And the thing I like about him is that he has publicly admitted, I fucked up.
Oh yeah,
I am human.
Yeah,
I own this stuff. I did some shitty things. I wish I could change them. I can't. And life's too short. I just have to move forward.
But yeah, no, everything about this movie really unlocked sci-fi for me. Really unlocked the idea.
Totally.
I can't remember a movie before this where I was like, "What's time travel? Why do I like it so much?"
Like he shows up naked and he goes to that fucking biker bar,
right? In
and
2,
yeah.
I need your keys,
so
your
good.
bike, and your boots. But like, even the movie itself does a good job of keeping you involved. You're like it's late 80s, right? Like 87?
No. This
80,
85,
80, okay,
84, 85. Like the first one, the Terminator.
The first one, yeah.
No, it's
so like it's in the crazy middle.
Pretty sure it's 85.
It's coming out of the crazy 80s for filmmaking, right? Right, smack dab in the middle of the 80s, and everyone always loves to give the 80s.
84.
Oh fuck.
Right, because Aliens came out in 86.
It you know what? And everybody loves to throw shade to it. Everybody loves to include an homage to it.
Dude, it's fucking awesome.
Like it's everybody's filmmaker.
When he goes into the police station, goes, "I'll be back."
Yeah.
Right? And that becomes like his fucking tagline forever. And then he goes and gets a giant fucking vehicle and drives it into the front of the police station. That scene's amazing.
Number 13 is About Time, which I never saw. Did you see?
I never saw it. I watched the trailer last night.
Okay.
When I was going through this list, because I was like, "What? Did I miss this movie?" And I remember watching the trailer, but I never saw the actual movie. And the funny thing is, I was like, "Oh, Rachel McAdams in another kind of romance, fucking time travel," because she's in the Time Traveler's Wife.
She is in the time. I was going to say that,
right?
With Eric Bana.
With Eric Bana, which is a little bit isn't really a rom-com. It's more of like it's more of a drama. But honestly, this is actually on Netflix right now.
Is it?
Yeah, and it just popped up on Netflix, and I think it's one of the top 10 movies. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. But I'm gonna watch this.
Maybe I'll check this out. I've known of it. I don't even know much about the plot to tell you about it, listener. But like
the premise behind it is all the men in their family have the ability to time travel.
That's this one. Okay,
and that's like this genetic thing. Right, and it's kind of a cool kind of comical premise, and it's kind of similar to the Butterfly Effect. in that respect, right? Whereas he can basically do the time travel, but he has to be in a certain situation. So same with this, they have to go into a dark space and then clutch their hands and think about where they want to go back, and they'll jump back.
Well, and a romantic comedy is a great place to do it, because don't we all want to go back in our lives and like
absolutely
make that one relationship
and
work
when you watch
or
the
some
trailer,
shit.
like it shows a scene where he like introduces himself with a girl, and then it's like a New Year's Eve party, and she's like, well, why didn't you kiss me? And then he goes back in the closet and comes back and then makes out and kisses her, right?
Because he can
And then there's another scene where he like sleeps with the girl, and he's like, and you could tell she was kind of he's like, oh, so sorry about that. And then he goes, and then it shows them all like all laid out, and she goes, how was that? And she goes, that was amazing. Like
Number 12, Back to the Future Part 2.
I think it should say Part 2 and 3, considering those two movies were filmed at the same time
They were,
and then released like a year apart or something.
It's just outside of 12 months, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it better than 1?
No. Fuck no.
No. 1's your perfect movie.
2 and 3 are good. Like, you know, they're clever, they're funny, they're playing, it's just a continuation of it.
Well, 2 is fixing what happened with 1.
Well, trying to,
yeah. And then 3 is about going somewhere else so that you can't interfere. But somehow what you do back in the Wild West fucks up.
Well, the other thing is, the first one, they go back to the past. The second one, they go to the future, which is kind of cool, because you're like, oh, what does the future look like, right? Yeah. And then the third one, they go back to the really far past, and then you see a cool fucking locomotive that can fly.
Yeah, which changes everything in the future.
These are my sons, Jules and Vern.
That totally didn't make sense when I was a kid, but now I'm like, ah.
I also love how they changed like the name of one thing I love, and this is one thing that I love about Zemeckis, and his attention to detail. I love in the first one when it's Twin Pines Mall.
Yeah.
And at the end it's Lone Pine.
Because one of the
he goes back in time and runs over the
tree.
fucking tree.
That's interesting, because that's him going, the audience is smart. They'll find this. They'll come after us.
Yeah.
There's nothing that hasn't been already said about the Back to the Future world. I think it is up there in infamy. We would revolt if it was remade.
When you think about a time travel movie, this is the first movie that usually
100%. It is in the ether. It's in the
back in time.
Right. Number 11, Idiocracy. Come on now.
I like that this was on the list, because I actually didn't think of this until I saw it on the list.
This is stepping outside of some seriously popular movies to give a spot for this one, but it's great because it's falling asleep and waking up and time has gone by. Right.
And that to me is the only true time travel that we can actually do at this point, is potentially putting somebody into stasis,
freezing,
and moving somebody forward and then waking them up.
I completely agree. That is
it's the going
bargain
back
basement.
Yeah.
Because you have to reassemble your molecules and then line up
I
with
guess so.
like,
And you need they say theoretically you need the power of 5 suns or some shit to do it, and who fucking knows?
Yeah. No, I think
this is a great fucking movie.
It's such a good movie because
welcome to Costco. I love you. I love the fact that they're all wearing Crocs. So I love watching. I'll listen to any podcast or video where Mike Judge talks about this movie.
I think,
they were on a tight budget, and the production designer said, hey, there's these shoes, they're called Crocs, they're super cheap, they're ugly as fuck, we can get a whole bunch of them for cheap. And they said, but they'll never catch on.
And here we are. Hello, Ben Hopper.
Yeah, exactly.
No shit. It's funny because time has moved on past it, just like time is moving on in the movie, and it's all relative now. Right?
So much of it's come true.
Idiocracy.
The only thing he didn't really predict was social media, because it didn't exist at that point, or cell phones really.
But the idea of everything is automated,
smartphones and social media,
and everything is
and everyone's an idiot.
Everyone's an idiot, and the dumbing down of society,
and how like the smart people kept pushing off having kids, but all the dumb people keep having too many kids, and
like Dax Shepard's character as like the worst, eating his tub of like
plants need it. Maybe we should just give it like water, like from a toilet, like from a toilet.
No, it's perfect in every single fucking way, and I'm glad it made the spot for sure. Looper! Oh my god! Again, the grandfather paradox, but it happens to you. Can you take yourself out? Can you be if you haven't seen this movie, listener? Rian Johnson. I know everyone loves to shit on him for a certain Star Wars movie, but this is Ryan.
This is the movie that made him.
This is the movie that made him. This is Rian Johnson. This is why he's good. This is what he's good at.
This is Bruce Willis's last great movie.
Very much.
This movie is good.
You're a hitman in one timeline, and then you make a deal that as soon as your requirements of killing are up, you're then given a bunch of gold to go live a life wherever you want on the planet, but eventually your loop will be closed and you will come face to face one day with someone in the future who you've made the deal with, and they will remove you from all time.
I also love the one thing I love about this movie too is they made Joseph Gordon-Levitt look like Bruce Willis. So they
with the nose and the prosthetics and everything,
to make him look more like Willis, which I thought was pretty cool.
I love the
Emily Blunt's great in it too.
She's so great in it. The philosophical question of like, do you have enough time to do what you want? Is time really that valuable? When you
I like Jeff Daniels in it too, as like the gangster guy, and I love that scene with Paul Dano where.
Which one? There's many. Oh, when they're
cutting off parts of his
or
arm,
burning parts of him,
and like cutting, and stuff is disappearing off him, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
His mouth closes up, and then his hands are out of his sleeves. Yeah, that
was fucking cool.
That's a really cool way to show the effects of what two different timelines.
What a past event, how it affects the future.
Yeah, and you don't usually get that visual, right? It's like, okay, it was wiped out of the picture in Back to the Future, but that's the easiest way to do it.
But they showed a slow burn on that. Whereas this, it was basically like these instantaneous things happening, and he's like, "What's happening to me?"
And I love the mix of like he's got the classic car, but it's also the future. And there's these weird bikes and the different name for the shotgun, the blunderbuss, like just how it's a different time.
I'm going to France. Don't
go
to France. Go to China.
Go to China.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
everything else goes to shit. Go to China.
The whole conversation of the two of them in the diner where he's like, we'd be here all day drawing circles trying to figure this shit out if I tried to teach you. And it's like, it really is a moment where you're trying to put your brain around something.
Yeah.
And you can't encompass time travel no matter how dumbed down you do it. Even in this, where two guys are sharing the same reality. Yeah. That's fun.
I always thought the paradox though was if I always think of Time Cop, whereas if you touch yourself from the different timeline, then you go to that bottle, that thing of gloop. Remember that happens in Time Cop?
The green goop?
No, they go to like a silver goop. They basically kind of merge together if they touch the person.
Oh, their realities merge or something. Like they're in a third space.
Exactly. The two different beings cannot coexist in the exact same space.
So they have to form into one.
Something like that, yeah.
That's a really cool idea,
That was the premise in Time Cop, yeah.
Like a downfall of traveling.
Time Cop's not on this list, but that's a great Jean-Claude movie.
It is. It's better than just this,
Joel Silver's a good villain in it, too.
He is.
Fun fact, Joel Silver helped invent Ultimate Frisbee.
Oh, cool. The more you know. Looper deserves a spot. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I want it off the list. I'm sorry, Harry Potter fans.
It's not a fucking time travel movie.
It's not. It uses spells.
It's time travel within a fantastical world.
It is.
It's not.
It's not scientific time travel. I do not think this deserves to be here.
No.
First Star Trek, where they go back in time.
The first Star Trek remake.
Yes, sorry. The remake of the remake is. I love how we had old Spock. If that was what they had to use, this is time travel as a plot device. This really isn't a movie about time travel per se.
Exactly. And I thought it was cool, but if you're going to put a Star Trek movie on this list that's about time travel, it's Star Trek 4.
Oh, agreed.
Right? With the fucking whales where they go, they're in the fucking bird of prey.
Which one is it? The one with the whales? Got it.
You know, like the cigarette-shaped fucking thing comes to Earth, and there's like all the whale fucking sounds.
The bird of prey?
And then they get in the bird of prey, and they go around the sun to travel back in time. And you're like, all right.
It's the Superman way of traveling back in time. Just wind the world backwards.
But I love that scene where Kirk and Spock are on the fucking bus. And there's that that punk rocker guy with the fucking ghetto blaster.
Yeah.
And Spock goes up and pinches him and he falls asleep and the whole bus claps.
We do have something in common.
Yeah.
No, I like that they did this only for the fact that we got Spock. right? That's it.
It was a great way to bring in Nimoy.
Yes.
And it's great because he got to do Spock one last time before he passed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for everybody who was, hey, listen, here's a new guard, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got your original TV run. Then they went and did their own movies, which was even more fantastic.
Dude, these movies are great.
Like,
J.J. Abrams did this fucking well.
I'm glad Quentin never got his. I'm really glad he never got his. I mean, it would be a dark, murderous Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I think it would stick out as a sore thumb. And
well, JJ already added a lot of darker elements to Star Trek and made it less squeaky clean.
Well, in the reboots, like bringing back Khan and bringing back with Eric Bana in the first one, how that. Well, I mean, that is time travel because they're going through a black hole, I guess too.
I guess they kind of were, yeah,
because it is an alternate version of Bana's character, and he's going.
He's a Romulan, right?
He's a Romulan. Yeah, it's Romulan, and then
and that's basically where Romulus blows up, and then he's coming back. Yeah,
there's the fight in space, and then he gets pulled through the. So yeah,
I like how they tie elements of that, and they actually talk about that in Picard as well, where Romulus blows up, because they don't talk about that in TNG where Romulus blows up.
Interesting.
Right?
And it is all connected, right? It's Picard. It's spun out of TNG. So
anyway,
moving down. 12 Monkeys.
Fuck, needs to be on there.
Needs Terry fucking Gilliam, my baby. Like it's like I just love it that it's like a steampunk version of the fact that he goes.
You think it's steampunk?
What do you think it is?
It actually has more of a Brazil feel.
Really?
To me. Yeah. I don't really consider it steampunkish.
Just the plastic outfit and the weird
steampunk. That's not steampunk to me.
I love that
they had TVs.
You
know what I mean? They have you know, it's just very dirty. And it's just it's like recycled tech in a future setting.
Okay. You've changed my mind.
I think that's more what it's like.
Yeah, like
it's like junkyard tech.
It's what they had left at the time after the disease.
Exactly. Like all the fucking LCD panels broke down, but they had some tubes that CRT tubes that they could use.
Okay, I like it. The use of it, which I love, is you think he's insane the whole movie, and then it actually becomes true that it's happening.
The only really truly insane person is Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he's so great in it.
Games.
You know that
I got games over here.
You know that golden crushed velvet sweater that he had? I always wanted one of those.
How did nobody dress up as his character for Halloween? Why was it always Tyler Durden and never?
Because this came out in 97.
Yeah.
Or 96.
And
then
Fight Club's 99,
and I think that just overshadowed it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Too much otherworldly dark shit. But
he did get nominated for Best Supporting Actor in this.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he plays such a good psycho.
He plays such a crazy, good, insane guy.
When he's got the long hair at the dinner and his dad's Christopher Plummer at the end, and then everything starts to converge at the same time.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is so good in this too.
Oh.
Because this is where he kind of made the departure from I'm just the guy from Die Hard.
I'm the action guy. I'm the ass kicker.
Because he did 12 Monkeys and then he did Fifth Element, and everyone was like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. Yeah, it was him stretching his acting chops.
Totally.
Instead of just stepping on scene with that menacing personality.
Well, the thing that Bruce Willis is the best at is he's the best at holding a gun and looking down at it, and he has that look.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
That's not what you want to be staring back at the end of a barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
Number 6, one of your favorites, Edge of Tomorrow.
Love it.
Or also almost known as Live, Die, Repeat. The fact that they're working on the sequel right now makes me so happy. I watched this movie way late. Like, this is 2015. I watched this last year. I had never seen it up until last year, and love that Tom Cruise is like the anti to every role that he's done. He's like a prick. He's a little bit of a cheap suit. He doesn't want to fight. He's anti everything that he's ever been. She's the fucking badass of the movie, and like walking around with a giant blade ready to kick ass.
I also like the fact that they both go through the same thing.
They do. She's the one who figures out that something's happening. Like,
absolutely, she goes through it and then gets really badass, right?
Yeah.
And then he's capturing her at that moment, and then she gets bumped out of that loop, and then it's him in the loop. And it's just, you have to theorize how many. And he's like, I've tried this 1,000 times, and every time you die. I'm so happy that they're making a sequel to this. And
is it Christopher McQuarrie again?
I think so. I think so.
That is him. Like Doug Lindman and McQuarrie and Cruise all work together all the time. But yeah, I think it's definitely a deserving of Collider's choices here. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure coming in at number 5. how much fun is like we did a whole debate on where we would go if we had like we were going to have to do a history.
Well, at the end of this,
report.
why don't we say one place we would like to go in history, and then we'll end the show at that.
I think that's
because I got mine's wicked.
Well, so is mine. But
this movie's great.
It's so great. It's so
San Dimas football rules.
Wild Stallions.
I love it when like the antenna on the top gets broken, and then they're
chewing gum and shit.
They got like the snack packs like with the fucking twist off.
How about when I
gum.
say Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy Piggy?
I imagine Abe Lincoln just chewing the chewing gum.
Oh yeah, it was very good.
This is the movie that made Keanu Reeves a star.
Something strange is afoot at the Circle K.
Whoa,
dude, your mom's so hot, bro. Like the princesses, the going.
Was
back.
this movie before or after Lost Boys? I think it's after, right?
I think it's after.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is what got
Alex Winter's great in this too, man.
He is. You know, he's a director now. He's making tons of movies.
Yeah,
like he's
a director and a writer and a producer and stuff. Yeah.
No, and like I mean, you can't.
You know what? I'm actually mad at myself. I never watched the newest Bill and Ted. I haven't
seen it either. Actually, I don't know if I want to ruin.
Yeah.
Two good movies. Like even the sequel's great.
The sequel's pretty good with
Death.
Yeah.
And Status or what is it? Station. The two weird aliens and the carbon copy robotic Bill and Ted's. Like it's stupid but fun.
Can we just talk about the fact how good is George Carlin?
George Carlin
is fucking so great.
Is the best.
He's so great.
Rufus. What's up? Be excellent to one another, right? Like how often did that quote get thrown? Just be excellent to one another. We need to be more excellent to each other. No, it's fun. It's a comedy. It's like Palm Springs. It's like Groundhog Day. It's laughing at.
Well, it's not like those, but it's light. Right?
Exactly.
It's
There's no damning the future. There's no changing the past and being fucked up now. It's just like I got to get out of a history report.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go get like all these.
I'm gonna get everybody,
and they meet the princesses.
Right? And fucking Aristotle and Billy the Kid and Napoleon. Like it's just fun. Number 4, of course.
Planet of the Apes.
Original OG Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Such good makeup at the time. Such fantastic story.
Absolutely.
What happens? It's a great idea. What happens if the monkeys instead of the humans? Because that's what happened.
Yeah, I guess so.
No?
Yeah. I thought it was more from an evolutionary standpoint, right? Where the monkeys evolve and
that too. The science behind it for sure.
And their physical superiority.
I'm looking at
it with their intellect, basically. You know,
I'm looking at the moral implications of the film. You're talking about the science that's grounded in it, where they evolved out a different way.
Yeah. It's got such a quintessential like scene where he like comes onto the beach and there's like the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, that's such a fucking that's such a unbelievable scene. No, realizing that you're still in the wrong fucking place. Oh my god.
Do you know what? Honestly, the original remake of this with Mark Wahlberg and Tim Burton.
The Tim Burton one?
I didn't mind it.
Really?
Didn't mind it.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not.
Paul Giamatti is an ape.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. We don't get that if we don't do it.
Yeah.
I just feel that
I do like where they took this. I do like where they took this whole franchise after that, though.
Oh, I think
like the one with James Franco, where they kind of explain the backstory and the evolution.
100%. This new one is. I am down for Caesar all day long.
Mm-hmm.
They're very fun. They're very well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I mean, the science of time travel is another universe again.
Totally.
So multiple universes layered on top of each other. The universe.
Or it's like a wormhole or something. Exactly.
And now. That's the.
I've never seen. I know there's 4 movies from the original Planet of the Apes. I've only ever seen the first one.
I've only ever seen the first one too. My stepdad swears by all 4 of them.
My dad used to really like them too.
Charlton Heston was everybody's dad's favorite for a minute.
Fucking Omega Man's a great movie too.
Number 3, Terminator 2. This is the conversation.
I feel like we already talked about this.
We did. Yeah.
And I talked about this
again.
before.
I also think this doesn't deserve to be here twice. I think pick one. They're both great.
I think in this third spot they should have had Terminator and T2. And I looked at a few other lists online, and they always combine Terminator and T2 together.
Because
it's one kind of continuous storyline.
It is, and you're using the same idea with the same specs and the same world building. So, yeah,
I do like the premise of this, where it's like they keep trying to fix shit, but it just keeps turning out the same fucking way.
Well, yeah, because that's the story. Is we thought we got ahead of even in 3, the bad one with Claire Danes and Nick Stahl. Groundhog Day, 100%
Needs to be
deserves
there.
to be here. Original time loop movie.
Have you heard? I'll throw a theory that I heard about this. You know the insurance sales guy that he runs into when he steps in the pothole.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, that's a doozy."
Yeah.
Right. There's a theory that he is actually Satan,
And he set up the whole thing.
and so he's actually like in hell.
Is this a
And-
Needful Things take?
And it's basically the premise is that at the end he takes all the insurance, right? And that's like him kind of like almost like selling his soul, and then that's why he gets out of the loop. There's a video. I think it actually might be a Collider video, or it's one of these guys,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And,
it's a different take on
and
what
it's just kind of a cool little snippet and stuff. This movie's fucking amazing. I
it
love
is.
it. I think the one thing that always sits with me is that when you think about how many times he's gone through this, that he can learn how to ice sculpt.
He always has a new
I want
hobby.
you to think about how many hours
It's a great
it would
place.
take
Yeah.
to be able to have the proficiency to do that. It's fucking insane.
But it's a great way to show you how long he's been there. Because
well, think about it. If he let's throw out the math. Like say out when he's repeating that day. Say he can spend 2 or 3 hours practicing ice sculpting.
Yeah.
Right. Well, how many years? How many hours to be that level of expertise? Like 20,000 hours. Like think about that.
I just love that
Or
it's
how
like
good of a pianist he is.
like it's such a great play on Groundhog Day being the day where like do the seasons reset or do they keep going, right?
Totally.
Like there's a little bit of
Totally.
depth there that like
Yeah.
of all the days you could pick
Yeah.
for a day to reset, it's the day that you're waiting for change to happen.
Totally.
That's a little that's my
It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah. And I mean one of the best underrated romantic comedies too, because it's him trying to get out. It's him not trying to stay to fall in love. So like
At first it's him, but then he realizes that truly what it is, and it goes from him like, I want to try to bang this to woman to I actually am truly in love with this woman, and that's how he gets out, is that he makes her fully fall in love with him.
he pulls it should be the change you want to love.
Correct.
Number one, obviously, can't have it without it.
It's a
Back to the
perfect fucking
Future.
movie.
It's a perfect fucking movie. It's a happy movie. It's a well-written movie. It's a movie that almost didn't get made. Like everybody turned it
Roads, where
down.
we're going. We don't need roads. But Doc, we don't have enough room to get up to 88 miles an hour.
If you've been to one of our trivia nights, we love to use that as a skill testing question for a tiebreaker. So how many kilometers does it take the DeLorean to get up to speed if it was in Canada? You can't say enough good things about this movie. I will forever spend, if I have fuck you money, I would commission a pair of automatic pumps from 2.
Okay.
Like
They made them.
I know they did, but they didn't make them for retail. They made them as a prop.
What about the jacket that dries itself?
Right. I want the whole Marty McFly. Like I would go if I could. I would get a self-drying jacket, automatic pumps, and a hoverboard.
I think the biggest miss was the fact that he assumed that everyone would have a fax machine in their house.
Yeah.
You're fired. They had like multiple fax machines throughout the house.
Fired. You're fired. And the Domino's pizza's this big. And then they throw the Pizza Hut, and then they put it in and comes
And
out.
he comes in hanging upside down. He hurt his back. He's in like this traction machine.
No, it's like you said, it's the one that the world thinks about. It's the one that we all love to talk about. It's the one that we protect. We do not want to see Tom Holland.
Save the clock tower.
Save the clock tower. It's
Huey Lewis is so good.
Huey Lewis. I mean,
as the judge in the Battle of the Bands.
having to give him a spot. Like, I mean, I'm sure he was like, "I'll do your song, but you got to put me in the movie."
That's exactly
That's
what
exactly
it was.
what it was?
It was. He said he wants to be in the movie.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, there's your list, but Rob has prepared his own list, which
Well,
everything on it I absolutely love. Like if I was to make a list, it would
I have
be
a
so
few
similar
honorable
to this.
mentions on it.
You do.
So one for me that I feel
Let's
like
replace Harry Potter and Azkaban. Let's get that off of there.
I mean, for sure, I need Interstellar on there.
Yes, you do.
And
You need some crying Matthew.
well, it does such a great job of talking about time dilation and playing around with it, and how time it
future
only
affects
goes
the
so far
past.
for him, and
Yep.
it's so long here, and it's I just think that that's such a cool premise, and I
He
think
tried
it's
to
great.
physically show you time when he's trapped in that dimension at the end of the movie. Where like touching a thread of a time, you can alter, and like from the first anomalies that she records, if you think about it, it's always been him using gravity. So it's the predeterminism
because they thought it was a
like,
ghost. She
they
thought it was a ghost,
and he's like, no, you got to be more scientific than that.
Correct.
So the first lines of sand after the sandstorm forward is Matthew McConaughey in that world, not fully understanding that he's
in the fifth dimension.
Yeah. Not fully understanding he will be there yet, but having one of the biggest self-actualization moments where it's like, oh my God, I've caused this, but I wasn't here to receive it until I'm now. Like that's heavy.
It's so cool, dude.
Interstellar, it's so perfect.
Flight of the Navigator.
Oh my dude. Pee Wee Herman is the voice of the fucking navigator.
Dude.
I am your navigator.
And he falls down.
Elliot and Sarah Jessica Parker is the fucking hot pink nurse.
Yeah.
Falls down, goes through time travel.
He falls down the little embankment, and then he wakes up, and he's 8 years in the future or whatever
and
it is.
Mom's at the door, and it's like, where have you been? Yeah. Older brother. Oh my man.
Younger brother is older.
I just threw up that 80s starter pack post on our Instagram, and the shot of Elliot with the red navigator shot of her figuring out how to go back in time. Oh, so good.
I'm not going to talk about all of them. Another one for me is Army of Darkness.
Yeah. Okay. Alternate timeline.
No, he goes back to the Middle Ages.
I know he goes back.
And he pulls out the chemistry textbook that he has in his trunk, and they make all these bombs and stuff. I know it's fantastic. Whatever. It's kind of like the Harry Potter argument, right?
Exactly. I don't it's not a knock against the movie.
Yeah.
It's just a knock against the use of, or the projection of, or going back to the Middle Ages and then going forward again. I like the science of Bill and Ted doing it
shop
through
smart,
portals.
Shop S smart. Yo, she bitch. Let's go.
There's the gun right there.
I know.
We have the gun in here, listener. We have a boomstick.
Another one for me is Predestination. And a lot of people haven't seen this movie.
You need to this is one that will do what Primer does to you. It will fuck you up.
But it's higher budget. Ethan Hawke's in it.
Yeah.
Cool premise, jumps all over the place.
Sarah Snook's character is so good. She does such a good job of fucking with you, and then you at one point you think, are these the same character? It's a really good time travel movie. It's always on the list of movies you didn't know were about time travel because it didn't premise itself as that.
Yeah. I was going to say The Time Machine, but the original.
The H.G. Wells 50s.
I think it was made in the 40s.
40s? Still part of golden turn of the
century
sound.
And it's it was just cool because the way they do the stop motion, because he's in the time machine and it's going, and he's going further and further, and it shows the date rolling on the thing, and then things are coming around him, and then there's nuclear explosions, and then there's he's encased and stuff, and then he wakes up, and then he's in that new fantastical future.
Doing time travel in the 40s during what's going on in the world of the 40s at the time, coming out of the war.
It might have been the early 50s, actually.
Okay, either way, now we're in the Cold War, but science fiction. That's when science fiction really starts to blossom, right? It's not just a
1960 actually it was
1960.
Yeah,
even crazier.
And the remake was 2002. So for some reason I thought it was the 40s, but it was 19.
Yeah, that's about 20. Because you've got your original sci-fi horror stuff that. It's not a popular genre of the time. I guess is my point.
Yeah, got a couple other ones that we already mentioned. So we talked about Time Cop.
Yeah,
and this is one from my childhood, and this is actually one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid. And that's Time Bandits.
That's with who?
So it's a Terry Gilliam movie.
Okay.
It is where there's a young boy, and there's a group of little people, and they're the Time Bandits. And they go around through time, and they steal things. And they meet Napoleon, and they go to This
is a childhood movie of yours?
Dude, you've never seen this?
I've never seen this.
Oh my God, dude. It's so fucking good.
Never even heard of the movie.
It's so good.
All right. On my list.
It's so cool. It's so fantastical. They have this cool map where they can travel through space and time, and I think it's so fucking cool.
Do you think it would hold up today if you watched it again, or is it nostalgia?
Yes, I've watched it again.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I have it on Blu-ray.
Well, of course you do.
I'm waiting for Lucy to get a little bit older so she can watch it.
Quantum Leap needs a shout. For sure.
Quantum Leap for sure. Absolutely.
In the world of TV, we love every type of media here, but this was a movie conversation.
Butterfly Effect is another movie.
Ashton Kutcher, Butterfly Effect. That's
as cheese dick as some of it is. It's actually pretty good.
It's heartbreaking.
And how he like changes time, like there's that time where like there's the explosion and then he like loses his arm and he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
In that future.
Well, no matter what he does, he affects something that because he's the center point of everything changing.
Yeah.
Something always has to happen to him, and then that's the true heartbreak of it, because he's like, well, the only way I can fix my friends is if I do this to myself. So it's like, do I have to go all the way back to where it all started, or can I fix it? Like, yeah, so many questions are asked in that. Lost too. I mean, lost with alternate realities, spinning out of time, finding yourself back in time, not knowing what timeline you're in until you find out, and then you're like, what the, like, that alone, I mean,
There's not as much true time travel in that one.
It's as if the island is its own black hole, or on its own dial of gravitational pull that sinks you out of reality.
You know what's another good movie? It just pops in my head. The Arrival. It's not really time travel, but the fact that she learns from the aliens how to understand
fifth dimension,
everything
of time,
past, everything present, everything future, and how she has a child, even knowing that the child is going to die.
Good point.
Like,
very good point. That's
and
that's Denny Villeneuve
when I
too.
first watched that movie, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine. I rewatched that movie like a year and a half ago, and now being a parent, I was just like, it was so fucking crushing.
Almost got one of the symbols thrown on my arm.
Did you?
Almost.
That's cool.
Like the language that they make. Because I was like, I want a language from a movie that has really cool meanings behind it. And I was like, that's the cool one, because as soon as they realize they have the language, they have to then build it in like 4 dimensions to understand how it works. Yeah. That is an underrated one.
And then how she and Jeremy Renner's marriage doesn't work because he's mad that he feels that she allowed them to have a child, even knowing that the child would die. And he's hurt by it's
the predetermination of it again.
Fuck, it's so crazy.
Because she's like, "Where's Dad?"
She just it's almost like the message is like it's about the journey, not the destination.
100%, 100%.
And how that child brought all that joy into their lives, regardless.
Yeah, like not having it was more detrimental than knowing not to have it.
So, yeah, exactly.
Like having it.
But fuck, seeing a child die, man. Like, talk about fucking hard.
Yeah. And like starting the movie with that, but using that scene in a different text, because we start the movie with her having already lost her child. And then that scene is used differently to start the movie because it's about the aliens and everything that's going on. But then you find out that when we loop back physically through the editing, that's the moment.
And that's always a great thing, is because you're dealing with an actor, and maybe it might be over a 12-year span, but they look basically the same.
They do, yeah.
And you have to think, like, from the age of, like, say, 30 to, say, 45, you don't change that much unless you go gray or you lose all your hair or something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be drastic,
you know what I mean? So you're kind of tricked a little bit, and that's a great trickery that Hollywood can use in that situation.
Yeah, well, and that's the genius of making Citizen Kane, and the first film that's like, wait a minute, the beginning, middle, and end aren't in congruent order.
Exactly.
That changes how you
also
experience
maybe
it.
you make some small changes to a little bit of tech, but we don't notice it quite.
Yeah.
Like, maybe like the cell phones are slightly different, but unless I'm really looking at it, and that's how I actually gauge every movie. I look at the cars and the cell phones.
Sure, yeah, it grounds you in. Do they have cell phones? Do they not have cell phones? What's the age of the car? Yeah. Totally, that's a great way to.
Then it's.
It's a Studebaker. I know exactly where I am.
Yeah, then it's clothes and those kind of things, right?
No, I do.
Because clothes sometimes are harder to fit because we keep recycling different fads and fashions.
Fashions. Fashions can be from the 60s
totally.
in the 2000s, and you're like,
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite uses in a film, like when like a horror time travel or a sci-fi time travel or a love time travel. Using time travel is always fun because we do want to go somewhere maybe that's outside of our reality or a different timeline we want to experience.
Well,
when you say to yourself,
I don't consider sci-fi its own genre, so to speak. It is, but it isn't. And let me explain, because you can have a horror sci-fi,
yes.
You can have a drama sci-fi,
it's a subcategory.
You can have an action sci-fi, you can have a comedy sci-fi. It's almost like it's almost I don't know.
I honestly think if I was to I'll tell you, because you asked like where would I want to go? Like what era or what timeline?
So if you had one place that you could go, if you could travel back in time, where would you go? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Traveling back, right?
Yeah. Traveling back. So I don't want to know. The power to know where we're going, that takes all the if it takes out anything, it takes out the true like gamble of how you live your life when you know, right? So I don't want to know that. but I would love. I mean, this is a place for all its faults, all its greatness, all its change. But I would really love to go back to the early days of cinema, like the
1920s,
20s going into 30s with the change of sound. That magical
like
era
where they went to the talkies.
When they went to the talkies, I would really love to watch.
You want to go back to like the Babylon style orgies?
I want to be in one, but that's besides the point. No, but I want to go back to when they first started to figure out how to do this for us, and
so the beginning of the studio system, foundation of Universal and Disney and Paramount and all those kind of guys.
I want to go back to there, and then I want to go forward. Early age of Hollywood, golden age, changes of everything. That's where I want to go. Where do you want to go?
I want to go to the actual building of the Great Pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah. Let's find out what those were used for.
I want to find out what that actual time is.
Yeah. Well, how?
Right, because let's be honest, it wasn't 5,000 years ago. I'm fucking sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's way fucking older.
Yeah.
And B, I want to see how they fucking actually did it. Because I'm pretty sure there's some previous civilization that got wiped out by the Younger Dryas comet strikes, and this is just the thing that survived all that craziness, and I want to see the cool tech they had to do what they did.
I think you're exactly right. I think that they may have not invented the cell phone. They may have not invented the flat screen TV. They may have not invented Wi-Fi. But their technology that they did
more
invented,
advanced in a different way.
Exactly. And
it's kind of like the steampunk thing, right? The whole premise of steampunk is there was a technology that never came to fruition, so they developed this other tech this way.
You went adjacent. Yeah.
Correct.
I totally agree.
It's almost like an evolutionary standpoint where it's like, this evolved this way here from a totally different source. It's kind of like there's a plant, the cactus is only in North America, but there's another plant, I can't remember its name, that's in Africa that has come from a total different evolutionary development, but it looks just like a fucking cactus. And they call that coevolution, where a similar outcome comes, but from a different origin point, not from a convergent, where they weren't separated by geography.
That's why I think that maybe the pyramids are for time travel. Maybe the pyramids are for storm control. Maybe the pyramid, something.
I think it's energy production.
Okay, something we can't do right now, they made then. And then when the world reset, this is the course we went on.
That technology got lost.
Because...
And you have to think about it. If there was a massive catastrophic event, and then you had thousands of years where humans are basically rebuilding even the entry-level part of civilization...
Yeah.
Right? If we took remnants from our society today and you fast forward 5,000 years, what's actually going to be around? I don't know if you remember, there was a TV series, it was on Discovery.
I remember it.
Or History. It was like
what happens when the world stops?
What happens when humans disappear?
Yeah.
And everything metal gone, everything made out of this gone, everything made out of this gone. It's literally just giant stone structures, and honestly, most of the concrete stuff we make nowadays doesn't exist anymore because the rebarb inside starts rusting away, and then it falls apart. So it's actually only the solid stone structures that will remain. If you look at Cocos, if you look at some of the places in Peru, like Cocos or Machu Picchu, you've got a type of construction down below, and then you have two different other types of construction that are less advanced above it. So it's almost like they discovered this ancient foundation and then they built shit on top of it that they couldn't replicate.
Fuck. These are the answers we want. I want to know what it was like to make a talking movie, and you want to know the origins of the planet. Fucking right, man. Listener, thank you for taking the time to listen to this week's episode. Thank you for giving us your time. Well, we gave you time travel.
Yeah.
Backwards, forwards, in and out loops. I think shout out to Collider. I mean, not a perfect list, but
Collider makes great lists, man. I think these things are actually fairly well researched. It's also somebody's opinion. It's an editorial.
It is,
right?
It's not.
And I found another list with the top 35 movies.
Yeah.
And a funny thing is, I made my list, and then I found that list, and I was like, oh shit, I was aligned with that person quite a bit.
I usually go to Collider. I think Collider has the most appearance on the show out of everybody. I don't do a lot of Movie Web or
they're kind of like the movie BuzzFeed.
They are.
You know how BuzzFeed had the top 10 list back in the 2000s?
Yeah. Collider, Screen Rant, and Screen Rant both do really good curation.
Yeah.
You should pay us, guys. Just pay us. would do this.
They also have great memes.
Yes. They've got funny people working for them.
Totally, man.
They got people who know this shit.
Absolutely.
They got the nerds. So list will be in the show notes if you want to peruse it. Also, if you think a movie should have been on this list that we didn't talk about, that's not in our
because there might have been something
picks,
we missed.
There's definitely something we missed. If there's a list of 35, we didn't get them all. Send us a voicemail, comment. We'll put them on the show. We want to put you on the show. We want to feature you on the show. If you're from Winnipeg and the surrounding area in our home province of Manitoba, then be featured on The Real Debaters. If this is your first time listening to us and you've gotten this far, thank you so much for listening to the show. Easiest way to support us is subscribe, follow us on social media, and find us in your podcast player each and every week.
What about if you're in Winnipeg? Why don't you call out the upcoming comic book convention that's coming?
Mark from the show has Mark and String Bean Comics have decided to take over C4 Comic-Con, the original Comic-Con that we all used to go to at the convention center back in the day.
Yeah.
It shrunk for a minute, was kind of put away, and then it was carried on at the Caboto Center. But on March 23rd, Mark is carrying the torch. He's going to be bringing C4 Comic-Con forward, and we are going to be live casting from Comic-Con. We're going to come down. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk about collectibles. We're going to talk about props. We're going to talk about all the things that we would love to buy or have. Comics, too. Comics lore.
Tradables.
Like anything. We'll take pictures of the studio if you want to buy stuff in here. Maybe we'll auction it off. Who knows? But the point is we're going to be there live casting. So if you want to come over and talk to us, that would be another way to get featured on the show instead of leaving a voicemail. So March 23rd from 10 to 6 p.m. at the Caboto Center. Find the link in our show notes as well, too. You should be there. It's a Comic-Con. It's outside of the traditional Comic-Con that we have come to love that's been going on the last 3 years, but this is something that's local. This is something that's got heart and community and is a lot of fun and has a lot of cool shit.
A lot more comic-centric, I think, too.
Yeah, that's what Mark said, is that this is for the comic collector. This isn't about
all the stuff adjacent to the cons.
Yeah, the stuff that they've built to get people in.
Yeah.
This is for the true comic book collector. So if you're looking for a vibe, you're looking for a community, and you're looking for a way to sell some shit or buy some shit, March 23rd, Caboto Center in Winnipeg. Show notes will tell you everything you need to know. See us there. See the table. Come over and say hello. I got nothing else for you. I've been Micheal Petrow.
I'm Rob Strachan.
And we're The Real Debaters. Watch all the movies, kids. See you next week.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.